Hi everyone, I'm Jessie Mannisto, and I'm the editor-in-chief of Third Factor magazine. We are mainly a text-based platform right now, but we've had some requests to move into video content, so I thought I would start that experiment by introducing the magazine to those of you who are discovering us for the first time through this medium. So, what is Third Factor all about? Well, I like to say that we are a magazine that's about your mess and your mission. What do I mean by that? Okay, so we are for a certain niche, and it's hard to pin down that niche with a good label, but let me toss out a word that is a really good starting point, right? Kind of where we were when we started the magazine. That word is intense. Our readers are people who relate to this word intense. In particular, there are three different flavors or channels or domains that I will describe. So the first one is an intensity of the intellect. If what I'm describing is intellectually intense or highly intellectually engaged is another way I might describe it. Basically, I'm saying that you have a mind that's highly active. You are a questioner, maybe annoyingly so to other people. You think for yourself. You might be prone to overthinking. You might have an emotional reaction to that word, overthinking. Maybe it's been directed at you by other people. And the word truth. Truth probably resonates strongly with you. Truth with a capital T, right? Though maybe it's a complicated word. It's got messes around it. But it's important, right? For people with intellectual intensity. Another form of intensity is emotional intensity. And if you're what I'm describing as emotionally intense, then you are a passionate person. You feel things deeply. You see all the injustice in the world and you want to make it right? You're really driven that way. The word justice is a word that resonates deeply with you, most likely, though again, you may have some issues with how it's used sometimes. Goes back to the overthinking thing, or whatever you want to call that. But so we have truth and justice. The third form of intensity is imaginational intensity. You might be imaginationally intense if you can envision whole worlds, whether they're worlds of pure fantasy, you're creative writers, or alternate versions of our own real world, which could apply anywhere, into politics and policy, right? Imagination has a lot of roles. The point is that you can see possibilities and even the impossibilities. You can perceive meaningful connections between things that other people see as completely unlike. That connectivity is important to what we talk about the imagination. But the word that resonates here is creativity, right? It goes along with having an imagination. So those are the three types of intensity that we dive into, sometimes talking about them specifically by name, sometimes just talking in general about intensity. But maybe one of the three types stands out as key to you. Maybe you relate strongly to all three of them. Either way, especially if all three of them resonate, that's probably going to give rise to some tensions, right? Between your feelings and hard facts, right? Vision versus actuality. You can see why, perhaps, then we talk about the mess. So some of our content is about cleaning up those messes, sorting things out. Because we want to do that, right? That's important. Maybe some people just want to wallow in the mess, but we are driven, right, here at Third Factor, and that brings me to the other part of the description, which is the mission, the other half of our content focus. So, okay, maybe you don't have a clear mission. When I throw that word out there, you're like, gee, I don't know what my mission is. Maybe some of you think it has too much external connotation, someone assigning you a mission. But I'm talking about something internal that springs up from within you, probably the same place the intensity is springing up. So a synonym is purpose, right? Purpose is also hits the mark, though it doesn't give you the nice alliteration with mess. But it's the thing that gets you out of bed every day. The thing that's going to make you make your mark on the world. I'm not talking about being famous, by the way, because you can make a mark by making a difference in one person's life. So whatever your mission is, very broad definition of possible missions, but we want to help you figure out your mission and how to fulfill it, because only you can do that. It's probably really unique, unless you're lucky. Our readers tend not to be, to have things fall out in play in ahead of them like a yellow brick road for them so easily. But so this is what springs up out of your intellectual engagement, your passionate feelings, and your vibrant imagination. That brings me back to labels. Another one that you might have heard for intensity is something called overexcitability. I didn't just make these intensities up myself. I got them from something called the theory of positive disintegration. We talk about it a fair amount here at Third Factor. If you're not interested in theories of psychology, don't worry, you can skip that part. But it underlies a lot of what we're saying. Even our title, Third Factor, is a reference to it, as I'll talk about in a future video. But in a upcoming video, I'll make another one that introduces the basics of the theory of positive disintegration. You can also, of course, find that on our website, www.thirdfactor.org. One other word I want to bring up, a label, before I wrap up today. That is this word gifted. We do sometimes use that word to describe our readers. First and foremost, because that's a word that people often search on Google when they're trying to find content like ours. These overexcitabilities were linked at one point or introduced through gifted education. So if you weren't in the gifted program, don't worry about that. If what I said about the mess and the mission appeals to you and resonates with you, then we're talking to you too. I mean, I think you're gifted if you like our magazine, but let's put aside that controversy and just read it and see if it works for you. So if you want to see it, again, www.thirdfactor.org. We will have more coming to this content channel soon. But for now, I will leave this here for today. Thanks for watching.